Hi. Um, good, I guess good morning and good evening for you, Fiker. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Good morning to you, Jonas
Thank
Yoni.
you. You can choose whatever works for you.
Okay.
Do you go by Fiker or like do you have a nickname?
Uh, People call me Love.
People call you Love.
Yes.
Really? I can definitely do not
Yeah,
call you love. I
it's all
cannot do
right.
that because I can probably imagine my wife is like, who is he calling
What's good?
love? And then she just comes over. I don't. So I'll call you Fikar if you don't mind. Okay, you
Yes,
could call me
I
Yoni
do
though
not
if that
know.
works. Okay.
Okay.
So I think I'm very new to this whole podcasting space. So typically, I think you're supposed to have like an introduction. So here we go. This is the Mado podcast, and today I have as my guest Fikr, um, which I'm super excited about. And we're just gonna, and what we do on the Mado podcast is basically we find exceptional talent, remote global talent, and we showcase them. We bring them to the forefront and we promote them. And yeah, so we'll get going. So, Fikr, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, I don't have to start with my name. It's Fikar Kasha. And I am a very passionate digital marketer and on the way to being a project manager in the ropes. Um, So, where should I start? Let me start
I think
with
you
my
can
history.
start. Yeah, you can start with your history. That works. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Let me tell you how I got into marketing, first of all. Um, so, the way I got into marketing, I had a very passionate business and economics teacher when I was in 12th grade. Salt of the earth. He's just, an amazing teacher, such positive energy, very contagious. And he used to teach at the university that I ended up going to. And he was a very adamant advocate about marketing. And he's like, that's the way to go nowadays. And, you're definitely going to enjoy it and use it throughout your life, no matter what field you end up going into. And so he definitely sold me on it and uh, ended up going to university studying marketing and management. And then after I graduated, as most people do, I did not go into my field because I was like, let me see what's out there. And um, as far as I knew, there was marketing in every company. So I was like, I just need a leg in. So I ended up interviewing for a position as a quality assurance analyst. So basically, what I did there was, and got the role. What I did was I basically uh, made sure that softwares, applications, and websites were up to per based on the client's requirements. So we used to work on the event platform, and which gave me such vast knowledge, not only about what I was doing, but what account managers do on a daily basis, what project managers do, and how the whole system works from beginning to end. Um, so I definitely got a good leeway into the tech industry. And then during COVID or right before COVID, I went and tried to, shimmy my way into the marketing department. And I had a great mentor at that time, which he pushed me in the right direction, gave me books to read, courses to look at, and just definitely motivated me to go in that direction. And I'm like, you know, if you have the means, the tools, and the connections to do it, you definitely should. um, so I ended up applying for a position in marketing after that, after doing all my research and a few couple of trainings with him as well. and then ended up joining the marketing team during COVID, where I learned, I couldn't even tell you, graphic design, videography, um, content management, creative writing, email marketing, SEO, pretty much the works, which was really great. And then after that, my mentor actually left, and I ended up taking over his position, and basically leading the marketing team, the digital marketing team for the company. And actually, the company that I used to work for was MMCY, as
Okay, I've heard of
like
them.
Mado. Yeah, like Mado started as a software development company and then went into talent. So they did it with like a couple of years. You guys did it in a short time. I think that was perfect. um, and then uh, and then I went to digital marketing and definitely found my um, where I shine and what my superpower was. And I've been doing it ever since. Um, After digital marketing at MMCY, they connected me since now they became a talent management company. They connected me with Unikin Inc., which is a cybersecurity company. And I did digital marketing for them as well. Um, and um, and now we're here.
Wow. That was such a good introduction. Like I love that. That was awesome. Um yeah, even the story about your teacher in high school, that was gold. That was so good. Amazing. Okay, so you've basically covered everything. That's awesome. Okay, so what does a digital marketing executive do? Like what is the job like? Like so you come in, do you have a team? Like what's going on? What's a typical day?
So I'm a shine a light a little bit on my work at MMCY. So a digital marketing executive on a daily basis would just be we would come in, friendly highs here and there, and then get started on our emails because I'm sure we're working with people and clients that are all around the world. So while we're sleeping, there's 10 of emails coming in. So we just have to review those. And then we usually have digital marketing meetings in the mornings when everybody comes in and basically getting the agenda ready and anything that needed to be finalized, getting that ready in the mornings right before our meeting. So I used to lead a team of, I think, 4 people. So we had a social media manager, an SEO manager, a graphic designer, and a photographer and videographer. So I would get them together, and then usually we would have our social media manager leading some of these meetings because she's the main, content developer. Her and I would be developing the content, and then everybody's plays a supportive role in the strategies that we're building. So we would look through our content calendar, what needs to be done this week, what have we got ready for. We also had a content writer as well. Sorry. And then we would say, okay, this and this and this is ready. Let's get it out this week. And then what's coming up next week and the next 2 weeks and throughout the month. And then we would have, after we've finalized our meeting of strategy, no, not brainstorm, strategy, processes, and gone through the whole 9 yards, we would go through, okay, now let's talk analytics and make sure that aligns with our goals. So we would go through social media analytics, go to our website analytics, and then report on a weekly to bi-weekly basis and say, okay, this is what's working. We should definitely keep pushing on this. This is the kind of content that's being received really well. So we would use our data and leverage that to make better strategies, better content, um, and then have the whole team collaborate on that. And then my favorite and absolute favorite part is at the end we have a quick brainstorm session of any ideas that came up within the meeting. People will just be writing it down. So we'll be like, oh, when you said this, I remember this. This is something we could try. This is another client that we looked at last week that needs this and this, and I think this is a creative way of getting that message across. So we would just have those light and fun-hearted discussions afterwards. So after our meetings, that's when the getting gets going. We get our work done. Everybody shimmies off to where they need to go. We had multiple offices at that time, so we would be shooting videos here, writing content there, collecting photos and content or any interview questions, or writing scripts on the side for what we're going to post for the next month or so. And then we would sometimes do a little coffee time, maybe towards the end of the week, usually around Friday. And as a team, we would just all go out, get some coffee. So, hey, what's going on? What are you having trouble with? What can we do better for next week? And then make sure those conversations are incorporated to next week's Monday meeting, and put strategy to everything together. So we have the human aspects, the work, and everything together. Yeah.
Amazing. Wow. Okay. So as a leader in the space, um, if somebody was new, they're new, they're coming into the space, and they ask you for advice. Hey, I'm gonna be a leader in the digital marketing space. Uh, Give me some tips. What would you tell them?
A leader in the space, I would say, um, consider everybody as a valuable asset. You never know when you're going to get that piece of information or knowledge that you're definitely going to carry on throughout your life, not just in your career. So if people just be a good listener, I think that's the main go-to. Uh, be a good listener. Definitely read and master your art and what you're trying to, um, the things that you're trying to achieve. So if you're thinking of being a leader in digital marketing, then know everything there is to know about digital marketing.
Okay,
Yeah.
amazing. Um, One of the things that I definitely want to explore, I think earlier on you mentioned something about wanting to go into project management, right? So tell me a
Yeah.
little bit about that.
Yeah, so something I'm recently exploring, because um, I had a wonderful time as a QA analyst, even though it was just, going through code and usually the front end and functionality of each and every app and website. Um, I thought the tech industry is the most evolving and the most interesting right now. And I'm like, what better place to be at right now and grow your knowledge? Because digital marketing, is such a vast uh, pool that it even extends into project management and the aspect of software development, like SEO. So SEO slightly coincides with the website development, which would be perfect alongside project management. So yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so in a project management role, are you thinking of managing software or IT projects?
Yes.
Is that the goal?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. So, have you ever managed software developers before?
I not managed per se, but worked with.
Okay, so
So
you've worked with them, you've
yeah.
experienced working with software devs. Now you're curious. You've done the digital marketing side. You're like, I got this. This is done. Like, I know how to do this. Now I
What's
want a new
next?
challenge. Yeah, I want a new challenge. I want to get into the project management side of things. And
Yeah.
okay, interesting. Okay. Um, And what about the technical side? Because I think one question that would come up, and this is when you're trying to apply for these kind of roles or look for these kind of roles, people would ask you, well, if you're gonna be a project manager in the software space, what about the technical side of things?
Um, I think one of the perks of being a project manager is, um, and from my roles from before, I got to see that you don't have to know code to know what's happening, as long as you know the basics of like what should be where, and what's the message that they're trying to relay, and what's the purpose of what you're doing. As long as you know the scope and the objective of what you're doing, I think that's enough to do pretty much anything. And project management, as much as it does include coding and developing, um, the majority of what you actually do is not that. It's dealing with clients on a daily basis, making sure that they're happy and what they want is done for them in the time that they say.
Perfect. Okay, amazing. And um, so how would you get the respect of people who are like, how are you gonna be a project manager but you don't have coding experience? Can you code a little bit? Like, what's the background on that?
I do not, but uh, I have learned a little bit of HTML here and there, which happens to be the basics for making any website, um, or the framework for it. Um, so, and I'm a very fast and interested individual that literally has the drive to learn more on a daily basis. So I'm like, let's do this.
Amazing. Wow. So super excited to be having this conversation live. Like I'm like, okay, this is great. So um I guess let's talk strategy, like from a digital marketing point of view. And this is something I'm interested in because starting a new company, I know how much work it takes. And one of the things that I've always noticed to some extent as well is showing value so hard, right? As a digital marketer, when you're trying to, let's say, try and get a job, just because, let's say, you did something before, doesn't mean you can do it again because
Yeah.
products are different, companies are different. So when it comes to showing your value, when you approach a client, how do you get them to see what you bring to the table?
Um, I believe the way to show a client that what you bring to the table is know your audience. Your audience is the most important aspect, not only for you as a digital marketer who's trying to, promote this, but your client who's also probably has done tons of competitive research and spent all their time on their audience and building and knowing who those people are that want to use their services. So as long as you have the audience, you and the persona or the uh, a figurative person of, okay, this is the person, this is the ideal 100% person that we know is going to buy from us or get this service or get this product. As long as you know that, um, it's all about building strategy around it. So what would that person do on a daily basis that would require them to use this services or this product? What challenges can this person overcome by using our services? So how can we make this person's or this persona's life easier? So as long as you're solving problems constantly for the persona that you have idealized, I think that's yeah.
That- That's a good answer. I'm convinced. You're hired. That is awesome. Okay. So tell me about a little bit about your English because you speak really good English. Are you born and raised in Ethiopia?
Born, yes. Raised, no. I was,
What? Where were you
yeah,
raised? Come on,
I
spill
was,
the tea.
I was raised in Tanzania. Uh, so I lived there for about 6 to 7 years, and got to go to an international school and stuff because my parents were at that time working in Tanzania. So yeah,
Okay. So we're starting to dig the surface. We know. Okay, so you went to an international school that helps with your English. Okay.
oh, definitely.
Amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
How was it living in Tanzania? Like, what were your ages? Like, how old were you when you went, and how old were you? You went back to Ethiopia, I'm assuming.
Yes, I came back to Ethiopia. So um, I was around 6 years old when we left, and then came back at around 13 or 14. So
Okay.
13, yeah, around that age.
And then Ethiopia afterwards, I'm assuming.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And then
Where?
here I went to Ethio Parents International Private School, EPS. So, and we had strict directors, I will tell you. They were like, nobody's allowed to speak Amharic.
I know.
Did you go to
My brother and
EPS?
sister. No. My brother and sister. Um, was it all my other siblings? I think they all went to EPS.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
like so I have a brother and two sisters. I think they all went to EPS. I went to St. Joe. So I did uh, Greek school first, from grade 1 to 6, and then I did St. Joe after. So I was a bit of a different case, but all my siblings, they went through EPS. So I know the school for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Okay. Yeah, it's a small world. Like it's amazing that some of us we've had the same kind of experiences and okay.
I agree. Yeah.
So okay, how was Unity? Like how's school for you when you went to get your marketing management degree?
Um, it was, I think I was lucky because I went to a private university during a time where, um, and also the reason that I went to a private university at that time, including the fact that I wanted to go there in the first place, was there was a war going on in Gondar, which is where I applied. Um, and then everybody was like, okay, you're definitely not going to Gondar. So definitely stay here. And I was like, Unity. My teacher said it's the best place. I trust him. And before, nobody asked me like, oh, what course do you want to take? We just went there to register, and I'm like, I'm taking marketing right now. um, so yeah, and I had a wonderful experience. There's a few, here and there because Ethiopia, but um, I had a wonderful time, wonderful teachers um, that I definitely will take everything that they've taught me, not only in my professional life, but in my personal life, how I treat people, how everything. So yeah, it definitely influenced me in a very positive way.
Good. I think a lot of people might not know how the education system works in Ethiopia. So can you just talk a little bit about it? You know, when you finish high school, what happens, like what the process looks like so that our listeners can be more aware.
Okay, yeah. So in Ethiopia, once you finish 12th grade, and 12th grade, you have to take matric, which is exit examination. So once you've taken that exam, um, you get to fill out these two forms, one for what courses you want to apply to, depending on if you're taking social studies or if you're doing science. Uh, and then so I got to I went through the social studies route. So I basically selected courses. So in that time, I think there wasn't much of um, there weren't that many options. So there was economics, marketing, sociology, and all of these things. So I was like, okay, economics and marketing. And another list that you had to pick from is um, where you're gonna go. So you just basically rearrange all of the ones that are provided to you and say, okay, this is the first one, this is this, and basically rank them from the first that you want to go to the pretty much the last. And the same thing with the courses. And then I believe it's luck that um, depending on what your grade is from your matric, you get assigned a school and assigned what course you're going to take. So if you're ranked on the top 20 to, 20 to 25% of your examination results, if they're good, then you get your first picks. And then after that, I think it goes, based on your second, based on your third, as the percentage goes down, goes higher, I mean. And then at some point, I think it just becomes random.
Yeah.
um, uh,
Interesting. And this is what a lot of people don't know is you get assigned kind of to different universities all across Ethiopia, and your 12th grade scores for your exit examination, which we call the matric, that matters so much. Like that's so important.
yes,
Um, yeah, so it's it's a very interesting way of doing things. The education is very affordable. That's the plus side. That's the positive side.
yes,
And I think it's good also for some people to leave wherever they are and go to different parts of the country, meet new people, and it's like a melting pot of different parts of Ethiopia getting together. So the university experience is very yeah, it's rounded, well rounded in some sense, but can be difficult for somebody, let's say, who was born raised in one location, but now they have to relocate and be in a place without family. So, um, good. Wow,
yeah.
what a great conversation to have. And so what does Unican do? Like, what's you? I know that your current role, what you're doing, where you're working is Unican. So,
Yes.
what is their what is the company about?
So it's a fintech company. So they're in the fintech industry. So they developed a software that integrates with the banking, with any company's banking platform, and makes sure that there's proper user authentication and user security for every bank user. Um, so yeah, it definitely it works alongside the already existing banking platform that they already have, and then plugs in and just makes it so much better and safer.
Ah, okay, okay. And then where are they based out of? Like, are they in Africa? Are they outside of Africa? Like, where are they?
Their main office is in New Jersey, so I worked remotely for Unikin for about a year and 4 months now, and yeah.
So they're, I
uh,
mean, that's good. So they're a US based company. So their
yes,
business, everything is US based. So you're a digital marketing executive with them.
yes.
Wow, look at you. You're rocking it. You're killing it. Um, that's amazing. Okay. I'm always impressed to find such exceptional talent out of Ethiopia, where they have experience working with clients out of the U.S. And I remember I was having a conversation with one, and she was telling me one of the clients thought she was based out of the U.S. Because of her English was so good. She was
English.
like, "So where do you live? Are you like on the East Coast? Are you on the West Coast?" And she's there like, "Oh, okay, I'm in Ethiopia. I don't know what you're talking about." So, um, yeah, amazing. Okay, okay, good.
I
And
think I had a similar interaction with uh, a graphic designer that I was working with, and she was based in Portugal, and you know, she thought that I was from the States, and I was like, no, I'm actually in Ethiopia, and she's like, really? But yeah, it's
yeah, and this is go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, I feel like it's definitely when people realize that there's so much talent to be utilized in Ethiopia and throughout Africa, they're still baffled, and I'm like, but
Yep,
we had the best schooling,
yep.
the best uh, influences, and um, we were exposed to much more than people think we were.
100%. There's a massive gap in awareness, and that's part of what we're trying to do at Mados. Like, just fill that gap a little bit, because the potential in Africa, the potential in Ethiopia is so massive, so huge. Um, it's it's really nice to um, communicate that to the outside world and just kind of do what we can to show the world, hey, we're a player. We actually have so much potential, and we want more of the global space. We want to be involved in the conversation, and I think we're doing it. There are a lot of companies that are in the same space, helping uh, people like you get exposure, which is amazing. And then we're happy to add a little bit of what we can into this massive ocean. So um, yeah, it's amazing. So I guess that as you're telling me about Unikin, um, like what kind of channels would a fintech or any company in the software space use to get to their clients? Are they doing a lot of like outbound? Are they doing a lot of cold stuff, or are they relying on the ad space? Like, so what's going on in that space? If you could speak to it, and if you feel like, hey, this is company secrets, then it's totally fine as well.
I feel like it's a little bit of everything. I can say there's not much I can say, but I can say what influences most of um, the company's ability to get clients. So one would definitely be referrals. So brand awareness on social media gets a ton of referrals. And email marketing, because fintech people are very, tech savvy, but they also are constantly on their emails. um, so I feel like those are definitely what drive business, and um, at the end of the day, that what locks it down is not cold calling or anything like that. It's um, uh, through tenders and I'm trying to find the word in English. Tarata. Through
Oh, the bid, the proposal,
bidding.
the bid.
So yeah.
Okay.
So
Also, you
what
bid for projects that people put out.
Yes. So what gets that company on the list of, people that must know about this bid within this bank is definitely their brand awareness and, personal referrals here and there. So inside channels.
Okay. You see, you're kind of um giving me more knowledge. I'm always curious to know more about the tech space because one of our ICPs we've explored, especially when we did software, was the tech space. So I'm always, and I think it's also a very fascinating space to be in as a digital marketer, as opposed to like traditional
Yeah.
business types, which can be like, just like like super boring, like, very standard. I feel like the tech space, you have to be very creative, especially in the startup space. It's so competitive, it's so
Yeah.
exciting. Okay, amazing. Okay, so I guess we're kind of, yeah, I'm pretty happy with the conversation we've been having. Do you have any questions for me? I ask this typically at the end so that you'll have the option to grill me if you want.
What should I grill you about? Um, I feel like you've pretty much answered my questions at the beginning. Um, but I would like to say more than grilling. I like what you're doing and what you're striving to achieve. Um, as a person that's constantly looking for remote roles, I admire what you do, and um, I definitely want to help you in the pursuit of that, now and in the future.
Oh, I appreciate that so much. And that's one thing that I've really found. A lot of people are super enthusiastic about helping us achieve our mission, and the support has been really encouraging because um, it's something worth doing because, in a sense, a lot of people don't know what the capacity is.
Yeah.
And the other side is finding people is tough. Even in the local context, let's say I want a role, I want to fill a role. So I put out a job ad. God help me, because I get 1,000 people that apply, and it's all paper based. I don't know who's good, and then you can't filter. The big challenge is, how do you filter for trust?
Yeah.
You know, yeah, you could filter for skills maybe, but how do you filter for trust and good character? It's so tough. So that is why, like, word of mouth, for example, is so powerful. And that's what we do at Mado. We find everybody through word of mouth because we know that's somebody we can trust, and we know that they're not going to disappoint our clients. We know we can build a good brand by doing that. Um, yeah, so to me, like, even the word of mouth that I'm getting from other talent, the same with you. Like, so, when we saw you, there were people in our network saying Fiker is amazing, she's so good, I've worked with her. And I'm like, yes, that's what we need, right? Because now I know that if I place you somewhere, you're good, you're solid, you're gonna do the work, you're gonna make sure the client is happy.
Yeah.
And it's a win-win for everybody. So I think the value that we're adding to the space is the fact that, um, yes, you don't know anybody in Ethiopia, you don't know anybody in Africa, you might not have any of those connections, but we do, and we can bridge that gap. Like, we can make
Mm.
sure that you can find what you're looking for, and if you get something from us, somebody from us, it's solid. Like, you don't have to worry. Um, so yeah, like. Yeah, very excited about what we're doing. Every placement is like a celebration for us. We're super stoked every time we place somebody, because we know it makes a massive difference in their lives as well. Getting that visibility, getting that access is so
Mm.
important. Um, so yeah, thank you so much for today, for being willing to come and become a guest on our podcast. Um, Thank you very much, Fikar.
Thank you for having me. It was a real pleasure.
Awesome. We'll obviously continue to chat, and I wish you all the best in your future endeavors.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.